In 2021, the CAC received reports of $379 million in fraud losses from victims, a historic year in reported fraud losses, and a 130% increase compared to the previous year. At the same time, CAC estimates that only 5 to 10% of victims actually report fraud to law enforcement.
By one metric, it could be one of the biggest moneymakers in Canada. By some calculations, it's worth more than the annual GDP of Nunavut or the Yukon Territory. It's phone scamming, but people working to stop the problem say Canada still isn't taking it seriously enough.
I try to be as respectful as I can when I say this. The RCMP does not, at the highest level, appreciate fraud or appreciate the impact fraud has on victims of fraud.
The House of Commons Industry and Tech Committee heard from experts and police on how fraud is perpetrated on Canadians in 2022. Some methods are old, people offering investment schemes, now usually involving crypto, or scammers calling seniors claiming to be a relative in desperate need of money. But some say Canada is lagging behind in stamping out scams that employ more sophisticated techniques.
Your SIM is the new SIN number. That is until SMS-based two-factor authentication is replaced wholesale.
Randall Baron-Chong had his identity stolen through what's called a SIM swap. A fraudster called his phone company, posing as a fellow telecom employee, asking for Baron-Chong's cell number to be moved to a new SIM card. The scammer was then able to use the stolen number to change Baron-Chong's passwords and lock him out of his accounts. He says telecoms in Canada face relatively few penalties for this kind of mistake.
These customer service reps, and I have sympathy for them, they're not very highly paid, they're not very highly trained. A lot of their kind of metrics are based upon how many customers can you get through, during your shift? What's the satisfaction of that? So their incentives are more to kind of, if someone wants to try to port their number, is to let them do it.
In Ottawa, Xiaoli Li, City News.